Hi, Room 5. So this week we are coming to the end of Unit 5. We're actually on Unit 5, Week 5, in our Wonders book. Hopefully you've been able to get into the McGraw-Hill app on your Clever. It's red, and when you go in there, yours looks different than mine, so it's kind of hard for me to explain, but you should have a button that says Games, and a button that says different stories that you can read. And sometimes you can't find them right away, but if you play around in there and get better at it, you can find them. So hopefully yesterday you were able to find this week's story. If not, I'm actually going to read it to you now. And I have to be 100% honest with you. I don't find these stories this week to be that interesting. I don't have, I don't know, I don't feel a lot of excitement when I look at it. And I think that that's actually a really good lesson for us to learn, is that sometimes in school, in the different stories that we read, they're not always what we love to read about. And these stories this week happen to be nonfiction, and they're all about how things get built. And I know in our class, we have a ton of builders. You guys love building castles and towers and all sorts of things. So even though these stories this week might not spark your interest, you might not pick out this book in the library if you had a choice, it's worth it just to read it and see what opportunities are out there for building. This first story today is called The Joy of a Ship. And as always, it gives us a new spelling sound. And this is actually a sound that we use a lot. It's the oi sound. Oi, 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 oi. So, of course, Mercy Watson, it's one of her favorites because of oink. Same with Wilbur from Charlotte's Web. So anybody who's read a lot about pigs knows the oi sound in oink. And there's two different ways to spell it, O-I and O-Y. The most awesome part about the two different ways to spell it, though, is there actually is a trick for knowing which oi you use. If you use O-I or if you use O-Y. And that trick is that the Y goes at the end of a word, like in the word boy. So if I was going to, I'm just going to get two different colors here to use. So if I wanted to write the word boy, it's B, and then the oi sound goes at the end of the word, so I know it's O-Y. Now if I was going to write the word join, like I want to join a swim team, the oi sounds right in the middle. So watch, on join it would be J, oin, like that. So you can see the difference. So let's try another one. Let's try the word enjoy. Enjoy. The oi's at the end, so I know right away it's gonna go over here in my O-Y. And let's look at how I'd spell it. N-J-Oy. There we go. But now I want to write the word, let's see, oi, 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 point. Well, p, oi, nt. The oi's in the middle. So again, p, oi, nt. There we go. So in the middle of the word or at the end of the word. How about another one, destroy? Let's look at that one. Oy comes at the end. There we go. And let's see. Oh, boil. And I'm going to make it boiling, Like my mom is boiling water for my noodles. So first I would write the word boil, b, oi, ol, and then I add on to the end I, N, G. So those are some of the words that we are going to be working on this week, that oi sound. And anytime if you have a problem remembering what it is this week, just think of Mercy Watson or think of Wilbur from Charlotte's Web, and you'll remember that oi sound. So I'm going to go ahead and read this week's story to you, and we'll chat about it a little bit. But this definitely says ships take people and things all over the world. How does a ship get made? Find out here. And I don't know about you, but I really never really thought of how a ship gets made. So this might be more interesting than we think. What is needed to build a ship? Making ships employs many workers. This task uses lots of tools and parts as well. Let's see how a ship is made step by step. Then up here it says, these people study the plans for the ship. There are many things to do. So here's my first sort of heading. It says, frame it. First, workers build a frame. The ship frame can balance on blocks up above a dock. Huge cranes hoist the big parts in place so they do not fall. Workers must avoid being bumped by these big pieces of steel. Some huge gantry cranes can lift 1,500 tons as high as 230 feet in the air. So this all kind of seems really big and hard to imagine. Basically, you don't want to be bumped by one of those giant pieces of steel. Next heading says sheets of steel. First, two kinds of metal are melted into steel. It boils. Hot steel flows into flat metal sheets and molds. When steel gets cold, it gets hard. The steel sheets are then ready for making a ship. Stand back, the steel is very hot. So it's kind of like making ice cubes. They heat up the steel so it's a liquid, and then they dry it so it's flat. A worker joins each steel section by heating the edges, called joints. Most workers put on gloves and a helmet to protect their hands and head. I would definitely do that if that was my job. Next heading, check it, paint it. Workers check all the joints. Then they point out leaks and fix them. If a joint leaks, the inside of the ship will be moist with water. It might even sink. Then the ship is painted, and this job is done. It gleams in the sun. The workers knew it would look nice. People will pay a lot of money to ride on this ship. Last one, out to sea. The people on the dock point with joy as the new ship begins the first trip. Those on the ship wave as it glides toward the open sea. Did you know there are many kinds of ships on the sea? This is an icebreaker ship, an aircraft carrier, and a cargo ship. So an icebreaker ship, I would assume, breaks through the ice, because that's what it's doing here. An aircraft carrier carries airplanes, a lot of times for our military. And a cargo ship carries cargo loads. And cargo is any product that we need from another country. There we go. So that is the small reader story this week. It's all about ships. And I've been on quite a few ships in my lifetime. I do also get seasick though, so they're not my favorite. But I'd love for you to ask your family members if they have been on a ship, if they ever want to go on a ship. I know both my kids really want to go on a cruise ship someday. They've never gotten to do that. Teddy has gone on a cruise ship to Alaska, but Cammie never has. And so that's something that maybe someday we will do. Who knows? So I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, please go on to McGraw Hill on your Clever and play around. There's lots of worksheets for OI, there's games for OI, and there's lots of things that'll help us get those skills up for 2nd grade, okay? So I love you, and I miss you, and there's no place like home. Bye.